I'm looking forward to having some takeaways from all this.
Awesome. Anyone else want to share?
Well, I'm brand new as well, and I absolutely love the work of John Maxwell. In my previous experience in network marketing, I did study this material and loved it, and it's so nice to revisit it and dust it off and actually live into it in a brand new way. And I'm delighted to be working with all of you. I've been participating in the morning Power 30s, and this is awesome. So enough said. Just I read the 2 chapters again today and can't wait to dig in.
Thank you. That's awesome. So our 2 chapters we're going to review tonight is the law of the lid and the law of influence. Such great topics there. So I will be your host for tonight for the very first session. And I will be just going over, I'm going to review some notes that I have here and throw some stuff out to you, and also asking you some questions. So Jules and everyone, if you want to just comment in the chat as well, if anyone has any answers to the questions or you have a question, the chat is always open. We love interaction. So this is all about, you know, learning together, right? So make sure that you're asking questions as well. If you're in network marketing, this is a must to grow yourself as a leader. This is a leadership 101 series coming right at you. If you've never done a leadership book before, this one is a perfect one to start with. And I'm so excited you guys have decided to make your personal growth and leadership skills a priority. And I'm excited to be a part of it with you and grow together for the next 8 weeks. Being a student of leadership is essential, not only for your business, but for your life, for your relationships, your parenting, your friendships. We all need to have skills in leadership for all those areas of our life. You are a leader of people. Your life will be better all the way around. Your life will be more effective in all areas. John Maxwell is actually one of my favorite mentors. I've done this book before once, and I know, like, even just reading the first 2 chapters again, I'm getting more nuggets, as you would, right, from doing it the second time. And I'm excited you guys are reading it, and we're doing it together for the next 8 weeks. We want you to block this time off every Sunday night. We need your full attention for an hour. I'm glad you guys, most of you, have your cameras on. Rebecca's not feeling well, so she already let us know that. And not to just show up, but to eliminate distractions around you as well, so that you can be focused on learning and taking notes and asking questions and being engaged. This is an investment in yourself. So when we do things like Power 30s and things like that, it's all about, you know, building your business. This is investing in you, and you are very important. You need to take time to invest in yourself and be effective for not only yourself, but your team. 1 hour a week is an investment that we'll be making here with this book. The things you can learn from here, of course, you will be passing it on to your team. I've done a Bob Heilig training, a full course for a year. And even now, when I do talk to you guys, my team, or we do our Tuesday night, a lot of it comes back. And I'm able to share a lot of the nuggets and tips with you, because it's now, once you've done a course and you've dug in and you've done a study and all those things, it kind of gets instilled in you, right? And you just take those life-changing things and you carry it on and share with others. So leadership is influence. And that really stood out to me when I looked at that. Sometimes we get mixed up in what leadership really means. Nothing more or nothing less, according to John Maxwell. And leadership is not manipulation. I'll just share a couple of things for what it's not. If you think that you being a leader is going to make your team do the things that you want them to do, that's not what it is. Thank goodness. Also, if you think being a leader is going to make your team do what you think they ought to do, that's not it either. That's not the motive for leadership. Leadership is actually accepting someone for where they are and helping them get somewhere, helping them get to the potential that they have in them and not your agenda. I love that. So this book that we're learning, that we're studying, is a springing board. There are 21 laws. Some of you will find that you're good in some areas and some not so good. That's why we need a team. We can be good in some, not all. So this is why bringing us all together, we work so well together. None of us have it all together. But as a team, we can be successful together. So we're going to use this book as a springing board to help you be self-aware of the areas you can grow in. And your leadership journey and growth should not end here, right? This is a springing board, so it's not going to end here. It's going to be a start of something really fantastic for you and your team. So chapter 1 is called The Law of the Lid. Does anyone want to answer for me why leadership is even important? Anybody? Jules? Anyone in the chat? Why do you think leadership is even important? You
Well,
guys,
somebody has to man the ship. Like,
yeah,
somebody has to be the example to follow. Someone has to be the cruise director. I don't know.
yeah. Because without it, your team will crumble. Good. Because your level of leadership is going to determine your level of effectiveness. And as in the chapter, we talked about what is a manager? Is a manager and a leader the same? What was the difference in the manager and the leader?
A leader is influential and a manager just manages, is set in a role that set in a
Delegate.
role, yeah, that they've already been put in a role that they can do the functions of that.
Mm-hmm. So whatever you want in life is going to be restricted by your ability to lead others. And that's why John Maxwell calls it a lid. So your ability to lead depends on your lid, right? Your effectiveness all comes back to you're willing to learn too. You have to be open to be a leader and learn to be a good leader. What goals do you have for the next year? Not just business goals, but parenting goals, marriage goals, financial goals. You can answer these in the chat. And the question around that goals is, which one of these goals will take a cooperation or participation from other people? You have financial goals, parenting goals, marriage goals. Do you think it's going to be other people involved? Cooperation and participation from others? Going to be all of them, right? You're going to need someone else in there with you. So when we look at the chart on page 6 and 7, it shows the effectiveness of success with without leadership. The first picture shows, and then the second one shows with leadership skills. Did you notice that the difference in? So basically, the first one, you can enroll and create your team yourself, and it'll look more like page 6, where the effectiveness is very low because you're doing it yourself. But if you create and help those coming in to do it with you, then your effectiveness is going to be much higher. Which team would you rather have? Which graphic would you rather work with? I like number 2. I like the page 7 is really good. So what if everyone you brought on board, you were equipped and you knew how to lead them to success, to what they want? If you had the skills, if you learned the skills of being a leader to really bring them and show them how to have what they want here, it would be amazing, right? You help them overcome obstacles, push through fears, and reach their potential. And that's what leadership is. That's what you're showing people. So here's some questions for any of you. How can you tell those that have leadership abilities already? Those joining your team, those that are on your team already. How can you tell that they have leadership skills? What are you looking for?
Good communication skills, leadership. They already have people under them.
Yeah.
They're into personal development.
Mm-hmm.
Take initiative.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I find the ones that ask a lot of questions are usually the ones that are interested in growing because they're interested in learning.
Yeah. Nancy said they're
I
showing
find
up.
leaders, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I find leaders are decisive.
Yeah.
Two more things. They take responsibility and they pour greatness into others.
Really good ones. I wrote down a couple here, and there were selflessness. So be basic looking at the needs of others, adding value to others, problem solvers, hungry for change, or some of them. What about weaknesses? When you look at the other side of that, what would you look at if you saw someone come into your team? What would be like a weakness part of leadership? I'll share what I wrote down.
I think if you're really negative, that's a weakness.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was one of mine, actually. I brought down.
I'll add to it. They may not yet be systematic. They may not be organized. They are still just randomly doing this, not in an orderly manner.
Right. I had a couple, I was like not taking ownership for, the things that they decide to do or not do. Not true to their word. Complained a lot. Those are 2 or 3. I'll keep out my notes so I don't lose my place. How long does it take? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that for me, when people have a negative trait or something, I always just see it as a place to grow, because I think that everybody can change if they really want to.
Yeah. And
I
network
think that's the
marketing
key.
is a great place to change.
Yeah, I think that's key with people is seeing that they have a desire to change. And I mean, nobody's ever arrived. I don't ever want to come to the place of thinking that I've arrived, because
Right.
there's always more learning. There's always something more that I don't know. And so I think when, we have people that we come across that are soft in the learning, being, teachable, coachable, being willing to learn and not having that know-it-all mentality, right? So I think leaders really, even though they can be confident in themselves, they can be confident in who they are, they can be confident in, where they're going and all of those things, they can still be really soft to learning and open to learning.
That's really good. I like it.
I love that Leanne said that. Yeah, that really points to the growing edges, that the people that we're working with, are they coachable? Are they open? Are they receptive to constructive feedback? Because they can see that it's not personal, that you're helping them, that you're showing them the way.
So how can we help someone to lift their leadership lid? What are some ways of support that we can help them?
I'll
I
keep
find,
Go ahead, Leanne.
I was just gonna say, I learned a lot from like those initial 3 ways with people. And then I've continued on, trying to do the same thing, because you learn so much from people that have done it longer, and you learn how to lead other people when you're in those situations. I'll make notes in the middle of a 3-way of a senior person and what they're saying and what they're doing and how they go about it. And then I'll turn around and do the same. I'll mirror what I've seen. That's something I'll do a lot of, and then I try to sort of say that same thing to people. I mean, there's a couple people on my team that resist doing things the way I've been taught or whatever. And I get it. Everybody's got a different way. But like you say, those that are coachable and want to learn from you, they'll learn. And the ones that don't, they won't. And it's just, you can see potential, and sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah,
But we'll get there.
we'll
I
get
tried to-
there together.
I try to do the same thing as Leanne. I try to do the conversations, like the 3 ways. I try to learn from them. And then I also explain to the person that I'm new, and sometimes that I need to check. I want to make sure to give them the right information and stuff like that.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies.
I'll add another piece is
Yeah,
casting vision. When in John Maxwell's book, when he talked about the Ray Kroc, and one of the distinctions between him and the 2 brothers is that their lid was around. They didn't have the vision for where this could possibly go, whereas he did. He saw something bigger, and he saw ways to find leadership in areas that he was weak in, so that he could build the team that could get them to the goal.
yeah, that's so good. So answering the chat as well, who has been a good lid lifter in your life? And what characteristics do they have that makes them good at lid lifting?
Natalie.
She is for sure.
Leanne has been very inspiring for myself. She's helped me a lot through some tough times and stuff like that, and really helped my customers as well when needed.
Same. Leanne's.
Outside, anyone else outside of Plexus? Go ahead, Leanne.
Oh, I was just gonna say Leanne has been in this end for sure. And then my parents have been fantastic, and they've been very supportive of all this kind of journey that I've been on in the last 3 years. So
Can you think of anyone outside of Plexus, like in your school years or anywhere else that's been like a huge influence to you? And what characteristics have they had that you can see that they make them a really good lid lifter? What's the characteristics?
I just thought of, which I had not thought of her in years, but a high school teacher. She was a gym teacher for us, and she actually was one of my coaches. I think she coached my volleyball team and my basketball team. And so she was somebody, so she was a phys ed teacher, but she was always running on her lunch hour. She was always in like sweat gear and everything like that, but that you would see her like when she had her 40-minute break or her 1 hour break, that's when she personally went and she did her workout and she would run. And she was always one of those people that she never looked at the outward. It didn't matter if this person was not, the cool kid or didn't fit into the crowd. She gave them the same respect as everybody else. And she always cheered for the underdog, even though she coached sports and things like that. But she was always pouring belief into people. And so I know that when she had her retirement party and things like that, there was this wide range of individuals that came together to celebrate her. And if I think about that, it was that she gave respect to everybody and she poured belief, the same belief, that she would pour into me, she poured into who was the underdog. I was the MVP of the sports teams. I was in the paper. I was the one, all of those things. So, but the same belief she poured into me, she poured into somebody who was not skilled and was not as developed or not as, didn't have those leadership skills. She would still pour that belief into that. So somebody who can lift the leadership lid pours belief, no matter what, talents or skills or developments that somebody already has in their bucket. They'll pour belief into people, no matter where that individual is on their journey.
Awesome. What a gift. I look at as Leanna's talking, all I can think of, what a gift to have that kind of person in your life that can support you in so many ways.
Sorry, I'm going to add this because I just remember hearing this. It was one of the trainings. I'm just trying to think of, I think it was one of the trainings in our February focus, but she said, whoever it was that I was listening to said, you can actually get paid to be a personal encourager. And that's what it's like, if you think about it, that's what, we're here for. That's a huge part of what we're here for in this business, is to blow belief into people, build, an individual up, build them to the place of where they believe in themselves and be a professional encourager. And we can make a full-time income off of that, of becoming a professional encourager. And so just think about that as you're leading your team. You're all on this call, gold and above, we're all here. And if we can become professional encouragers, that is going to lift the lid on other people and ourselves. And it's just going to all around.
Yes, love it. So let me ask you this. Are people born leaders, or is it something you can learn?
Definitely something you could learn. Some are born with it, but
Yeah.
some need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln learned.
Yeah.
And another encourager for me is my husband. He's the wind beneath my wings. I can be down and he'll lift me up and dust me off and put me back in the game. I'm so grateful for that. He pours greatness into me. Yeah.
That is so awesome. When it's in your husband, even better. Someone you're with every day, right? So yes, it can be learned. Thank goodness, because I needed a lot of it when I started Plexus. I needed a lot of personal growth. I need a lot of leadership skills, and I've been digging in and learning as I go. And I'm hoping, as reading these couple of chapters, especially the law of the lid, it just got me thinking, okay, where can I raise my lid even more, right? Always learning, always sharing, but always challenging yourself to know more, to be ahead of the game, to be able to be there for your team. And it's always increasing your skills. But leadership is influence. And if you cannot influence others, you're not going to be able to lead. That's just the way it is. Leadership as to be learned, but also earned. Right? It's not something that's going to drop in your lap overnight. It has to be earned. So it's something, it's a skill that you always have to be working on, getting better at. So we talked about management and leadership before, and we know the difference between the two. So here's a few leadership myths that people may think. Just because someone is an entrepreneur doesn't make them good at leading. Right? It's not the case. It's a myth. Example was the McDonald's brothers in our book. They didn't know how to lead. Entrepreneurs are good at recognizing a good opportunity, but they're not always good with people. They're not natural leaders either. That's something they have to learn. I had to learn. I was an entrepreneur, always felt like an entrepreneur, but I needed the leadership skills. Myth number 2 is having knowledge. Knowledge does not make someone an influencer. Just because you're wise doesn't mean you're good with people and able to influence them and, love on them like Leanne's sports person there that helped her. A lot of people have PhDs, but they have zero influence. It's quite a difference. So the myth is just because you have knowledge, you're not a leader. Or if you're a pioneer, if you were the first one to do something, create something, that doesn't make you a leader. You still have to learn the skills to be an influencer. Personality, just because people might say that personality, if you have good personality, doesn't have anything to do with leadership. You might have a strong personality, but that doesn't make you a good influencer. They're not related at all. We need all kinds of personalities on our team as well. We're not all the same. So what kind of obstacles might come up as one may fall into one of those leadership myths? What might someone face?
Not willing to
They fall
grow.
into- Sorry?
Not willing to grow and learn,
Yeah,
like just assuming that you've plateaued and you know everything now, moving forward.
yep.
I think it can go another way. I think sometimes you think you're so smart, you're a good leader, and then other times you think you're not as smart as this other person who's an awesome leader, so I could never do it. Do you know what I mean?
Comparing.
Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy. And one of the things that I've had to learn over the years is if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go together, you have to slow down. You can only go as fast as the slowest person in the group, assuming they have the will, the desire. Then you have to slow down and help them move forward at the same time. And then everyone wins.
That's so good. Awesome. Thank you, Maura. What if they think they're already a good leader?
And they have a lot to learn. As do we all.
No need for personal growth. It could be they could fall into that, right? They don't feel that they need personal growth. I actually thought that was me at one time. First, when I started Plexus, I really didn't feel I needed any change. I thought I was okay.
My
Boy,
biggest
I have a lot to learn.
Yeah, my biggest growing edge is patience.
That's a hard one. Don't pray for it. If you're frustrated more, or this one first, you may talk more than you listen. Maybe one obstacle that you fall into. You may be frustrated more when people don't do what you say. So leadership can be learned for sure. And that's why we're all here tonight. This session is going to be a little bit shorter for you, our opening. And you guys are here because you're ready to learn and grow in your leadership skills along with us. And next week, we would jump into chapters 3 and 4, law of process and law of navigation. I'm so looking forward to those as well. Anybody have any questions or anything else they want to add from the chapters that you got your takeaway?
I do.
Okay.
On pages 16 and 17, those are my favorite 2 pages, actually. And that is around what leadership really is. Character, relationships, knowledge, intuition, and experience. And then it switches over to past success and ability. And when I read those, it really made me think back and revisit and review my own track record and look for where my growing edge is. So knowing what the characteristics of leadership really are on those 2 pages, I think is gold.
Mm-hmm. That is really good. I love that part too. Anyone else have anything to add or take away from your 2 chapters?
I like doing the questions because it forced me to sort of really evaluate where I'm at and how I've grown since I started this journey to where I am now. And one thing for me when I first started, I jumped in so quick. I didn't know the products. I didn't know what I was talking about at first, and I just quickly scrambled to learn everything I could. So it's kind of interesting when I look at that, and I knew right away that was something I was lacking, and I forced myself to put myself in there. So I really actually like this because I would have liked to have seen what I was at the beginning compared to now. And even looking at ability, like at the, there's still times where I question my abilities, but I know that that's not a problem. But you know what I mean? You have days where you're just whatever. And I liked, anyways, I thought that the questions were really good to sort of force me to think about where I was at and how far I've come.
Yeah, I like that too. Make sure
I
you
think
do the questions.
everyone that has not shared anything yet needs to share one nugget. And so
Yeah.
if you have not shared anything yet tonight, take 10 seconds, even if it's just 10 seconds, just take 10 seconds and share something. So if you have not shared anything, let's hear from you. I'll start at the corners and just call people out. So Maureen, what was the one takeaway? Just take a few seconds and share a takeaway.
You're
Oh,
muted,
you're on
Maureen.
mute. You're mute.
I thought I unmuted myself. On the last page, on page 20, I like the leadership proverb that's written, but especially the first sentence where it says, "He who thinks he leads but has no followers is only taking a walk."
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
That was so good. Yeah. Sheena.
I really like the position myth. It says it's not the position that makes the leader, it's the leader that makes the position.
So good. So good. Nancy? I don't think Nancy has shared anything.
No, not yet.
I was going to share what Sheena shared because I don't know, because to me it's the same thing. Is if it's not the leader that makes the position, it's the position that makes the leader, or the other way around. Yeah, that's right. It's not the position that makes the leader, it's the leader that makes the position.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. Who's next here who hasn't shared anything? Arlene is my next square that I see.
I knew you were going to say that, Leanne. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I turned the volume right down.
Yeah.
I have a little
Yes.
dog I'm babysitting. I just want to say thanks to all of you. And to Cindy, you are so relatable to me, but to many. Because way back when I was so shy and I couldn't say my name in front of two people, not that I saw you like that, but even as a jewel, I felt you gave me hope. And, it's amazing, this leadership whole thing. I've always thought of myself as an entrepreneur. However, like he says, that really is nothing. Anybody could think of themselves as an entrepreneur, but it's the leadership skills. And to read this over, well, actually, I got it through Audible, to go through it again, because the book is back in Canada and I'm in, of course, Arizona. I wish now I'd order the book again so that I could literally say what you guys are saying and pick out those statements instead of trying to remember everything I've heard in the last 2 weeks, because I've literally listened to it 3 times. Plus I read the book, but I'm just so appreciative to all of you and can learn so much from all of you and have done so much. And just to help me to know that retirement isn't so great, that I still have something to offer and more to learn. And so I'm hoping to continue learning into my old age. And I thank all of you for helping me with that.
Oh, thank you, Arlene. So sweet.
Crystal, I think, is sitting there in the wings.
I really like the pioneer myth. And not just because someone is out in front all the time, did that mean that they're such a good leader? And Cindy is a great example of that, I think, because she's not always the loud one and always the, like, you know, always out in front. She's pretty quiet, but she's still an awesome leader. And I've seen, even though I'm growing, I've seen how much she's grown since I started back in 2018. And talking about great leaders, Cindy has helped me so much with encouragement. Leanne has helped me with mindset. And when you talked about people outside of Plexus, I would say my daughter. She's younger than me, obviously, but she's wise beyond her years, and she helps me every day.
Oh, thank you.
So
Crystal.
good. Thank you. Lindsay.
Lindsay, I don't
Is
think
Lindsay.
she's got it on mute because she's a single mom tonight and trying to put the little one
Okay.
down. So she's listening tentatively, but I don't
Okay.
think if she takes herself off mute, the little one will wake up.
Okay. Pamela, did you share anything? I don't remember if you did or not. But if you haven't had a chance to share a nugget, please do.
Sure. Thank you, Leanne. You know what? This has been a really great experience for me so far, with the good and the bad. I appreciate Cindy, who kicked my butt a few times. I still need to.
You got it.
For your mindset and for your encouragement too, Cindy. You've been there all the way, and even when I didn't believe in myself, you believed in me and helped me through. Experience. It says experience doesn't guarantee credibility, but it encourages people to give you a chance to prove that you are capable.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
Thank
sorry.
you. Pamela. That's okay. That's okay.
I didn't think I was capable. Until Sydney came up and Leanne. So thank you.
So good. Capability in all of us. There's the seed of greatness in all of us. You just have to discover your seed of greatness, right?
Yeah.
Did everybody have a chance to share a nugget? Julia?
Can I just jump in for 1 second? Pamela, darling, I just want to encourage you because you have stepped up in the power hours and all manner of leadership that I can see. I mean, there's lots that I can't see, but from what I can see, and you're willing to do things that I'm still too chicken to do. So, you know, please don't be hard enough on yourself to, you know, kick your own butt, but please don't trip yourself up. Just continue to fail forward and to just be encouraged.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I think everybody's had an opportunity to share something tonight.
Ashley.
So,
I don't think we've heard Ashley yet.
Ashley, come on, Ashley.
I don't really have a nugget to share. I just want to say that I'm excited to kind of jump in and do this because I have been struggling lately with just personal development myself, and just to actually sit down and read a book and get through it. I really struggle with. I used to be a bookworm growing up, and now I find it really hard to like just get into it. So I'm grateful for this because it's actually forcing me to do something and like make sure that I read it so that I can get on these calls and, you know, learn more and hopefully share more.
Awesome. Thank you. I think that's everybody.
yeah, I think everybody's had an opportunity to share something tonight at some point or another.
So thank you so much, ladies, for joining me for the start of an amazing 8 weeks together. I'm looking forward to us sharing more and more one-on-one, one on 17, 18 of us. I think there's supposed to be 25 in total. So next week, come back here, same place, same time, have your chapters read, be prepared, have your questions done if there's any at the end of the chapter, take lots of notes and do an evaluation of yourself. I found that even just reading the chapters and just taking time to pause and look over and read over and put yourself in those questions, like really in there, and just write some things out and journal a little bit at the end is amazing. It does a lot. So,
Cindy?
yes.
Thank you. For
So I also have this book on Audible. And it's really funny because I'm one of those people that have to actually see the words. Usually I can't process it if I can't hear it. Like if I can't see it, like right? But all I can ever hear now is leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. He says that so much that it's like engraved in my brain.
That's so good.
Now I listen to it and I read it as well. But yeah, it's pretty fun.
Perfect. Thank you, Allison. And it's so true, right?
Yeah.
It's so true. I
Just
love
the way
Audible
he says
too.
it. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah.
I have the Audible too, and it's the same.
Amy, did you have a chance to share a takeaway?
Comment on something earlier, but I really liked the part where they discussed the difference between managers and leaders. And I can't tell you a specific point because I listened to it a couple weeks ago because I'm actually on chapter 6.
Oh.
But because it's Audible and it was so good that I just kept listening. But I have at work, I have 2 managers. One is mine and then one is for a different department. And they're polar opposites, but they work perfectly together. But I found through that whole chapter that I was picturing the 2 of them and picking out which one was which. So now I know which one's the manager and which one's the leader.
That is so cool.
It was really funny when I was listening to that whole part. I just kept picturing the 2 of them.
That is so awesome. And you will be looking for that now. You'll be looking for that in your, if you have a boss. Mine was more of a manager than a leader when I worked.
May I share something that Amy just brought up? So Amy, because I have the book in front of me, so I'm looking at that quote, and it was on page 14. It said, sometimes even the best manager is like the little boy with the big dog, waiting to see where the dog wants to go so that he can take him there. And the best way to test whether a person can lead rather than just manage is to ask him to create positive change. Managers can maintain direction, but often they can't change it. Systems and processes can only do so much to move people in a new direction. You need influence.
That is so awesome. So good. This is going to be such a great learning time together for the next few weeks with John Maxwell. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to hearing more of your takeaways and your stories as we go along.
Thank you, Cindy, for facilitating this. It was wonderful. Much
No
appreciated.
problem at all. You ladies have a beautiful night and we'll see you next Sunday.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Thanks, Cindy.
Bye.